Waiwuchika Kasa, Waiwuchiki Fate. Welcome to You Can, my new show, Inspiration for Life. My name is Jag Singh. Many kids go to school to learn, experience, have fun, and hopefully carry some of these experiences into their adult life. But for some children, this isn't the case. Many children out there go through horrible experiences in school, especially when they come across the bully. Before I go over to my special guest, I'd just like to say very quickly to you guys out there being bullied, don't suffer in silence. There is help available. And to back that up, I'd like to introduce my guest from the Anti-Bullying Alliance, Lauren. Lauren, thank you for coming down.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good, great. Was that okay coming down there? Was your journey okay?
Yeah, not bad, not bad at all.
Excellent. So, Lauren, could you please explain a little bit about your organisation, please?
So the Anti-Bullying Alliance is hosted at the National Children's Bureau, which is a leading children's charity in England. And we've been around since 2002.
Oh.
And we were set up by the National Children's Bureau and NSPCC to bring together individuals and organisations who are committed to stopping all forms of bullying between children and young people.
Excellent. Wow. So, Lauren, I just want to get to the core of the problem. If someone out there watching right now is being bullied, what would be your professional advice to this individual or individuals out there?
I think you've said exactly the right thing already, Jag. Don't suffer in silence. You need to tell somebody what's going on. We know that over half of children are still saying now that they don't know who to tell if they or someone else is being bullied. It's just not good enough. Please do talk to somebody, whether that's your parent, whether that's your teacher, an adult that you trust. Just share it, and then things can change. Good,
thank you. Excellent advice. If there are any parents or guardians out there who know that a child is being bullied, what would your advice be to them, please, Lauren?
I think it can be a really difficult time for parents and carers if you're concerned that your child's being bullied. And the most important thing you can do is really be there for your child. Make sure you create spaces where they can talk to you about what's going on. Don't pressurise them, but just let them know that you're always there for them, you know, whatever's going on in their school life, and just really be their main source of support. And then if they do open up to you, they tell you what's going on, they share with you that they're being bullied, there are some clear steps that you can take. You know, what you need to do is keep a record of events, who's involved, what's happened.
Excellent. Because that pressurising bit you just said, because of the childhood I had, very quickly for those people who didn't catch the show last time, me and my brother on the show were talking about between the age of 9 to 13, we were bullied every day. It wasn't just a school thing, it was a house thing, windows getting smashed. Obviously I've got my own children now. Now when my children come home and my wife told me to calm down and back off a little because it used to be, how'd school go? Was everything okay? Where'd you get a bruise from? And my wife said, no, calm down, Jag. You can't pressurise them too much. But so I've gone back a little bit, and if I see any marks somewhere or anything, I ask, so how did you get that mark? You're 100% right about the pressurising thing, because my wife obviously pushed me back a little bit and said, well, no, you know, just take it easy. You're getting paranoid. If they've got any issues, we need to sit down. I'm sure they'll talk to us about it. Your team is doing a great job, okay? It's great. I mean, I don't remember seeing a anti-bullying poster in my school. Sometimes I think if I would have seen one, there would have been a bit of hope. To know that there's an organisation out there going out of their way to help these children, that is great. So what can the viewers and the nation do to support your organisation?
There are lots and lots of different ways they can get involved. So visit our website, www.anti-bullyingalliance.org.uk. Follow us at ABA Online. There is lots of advice on there for parents and carers around bullying. You can become a member of the Anti-Bullying Alliance, and it's really a great help to us when people fundraise for our work as well.
Excellent, brilliant, Lauren. Children, when they're being bullied, they don't come home sometimes and shout to their parents that they've been bullied. Maybe because of embarrassment, or maybe because they just think it's normal. I'm going by my personal experiences. How can parents spot the signs that the child is being bullied?
There are a number of different signs that are quite common if someone's going through bullying. So you might find that they're making reasons, excuses why they don't want to go to school. So on a Sunday night, you might be getting a lot of the, oh, I've got a bad tummy, you know, quite a lot of psychosomatic illness. Or you might find that they're acting out, their behaviours just change one way or another, or they're very anxious whenever they come off their phone or their tablet, just a sense that really they're not happy in themselves.
You are 100% right, because my daughter Alicia, when she has had issues at school, it's always, oh, I don't want to go to school today. And obviously me being the wife said, calm down. They said, Alicia, why is that, darling? What happened? I mean, why don't you want to go to school? And you always find out that there is, well, he pushed me yesterday. Well, I mean, that is great. And like I said, I'm on a radar on it, but I don't want to pressurise the children too much. So on a Sunday night when the child's saying doesn't want to go to school, obviously the parents or guardians sit back and think, wait a minute, there's some sort of issue there. Okay, good. Thank you, Lauren. New generation, social media out there, kids are on computers constantly. What about bullying online? Is that, please explain?
So we hear a lot about cyberbullying on the news and about what's going on, but importantly, you've got to understand that for your children, the offline world and the online world is no different. It's all one world to them, and that's very normal for them to spend, to be honest, most of their time on social networks. But it can mean that there's some pretty nasty behaviour that goes on, and they might feel like it's quite difficult to get away from it. So with cyberbullying, it can feel like it's 24/7, that there's a lot of people involved, and that it quite quickly gets out of control. But there are some quite simple steps you can take around cyberbullying. You know, there are tools to report what's gone on. You can block the person that's sending the offensive messages, and you can keep a record by doing screenshots of the stuff that's gone on, and take that further.
Great, great. Excellent. Again, the child sits near the iPad, the parents are cooking, chatting, or whatever. What are signs to say that there's an issue going on around? Because again, how can the parents or guardians out there read that something's not right?
I think, like we said before, it's if your child, after using their tablets or their mobiles or being on their computers, seem upset, or they're using them quite, well, I say obsessively, we know children spend a lot of time on them, but they keep going back to them, and you can sense that they're quite agitated around what's going on, or they're being sort of very overly private around the conversations they're having online. Again, that's quite normal teenage behaviour.
Okay, yeah.
But, you know, it's always so important as a parent, just have open conversations, you know, oh, how are you finding it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever, you know, oh, you know, who do you chat to on there? Do you know everyone that you chat to? Do you know all your friends, or are some of them strangers? You know, how are you finding it? You know, have those kind of conversations.
I think you hit the nail on the same. With teenagers, we have to be very delicate. But obviously, anyone younger than that, then the parents have the right to say, well, show me, I just want to see, or you can yourself trace through to see who they've been talking to when they got to bed, just to keep an eye on who they're talking to out there. Workshops, Anti-Bullying Alliance workshops. Is there enough workshops being done at schools? Is there enough awareness in schools, do you think, Lauren?
I think we've come a long way in the last 10 years. You know, like you said, when you were at school, people were still saying that bullying was just a rite of passage and something that happens to you. I think there's less and less people who have that attitude now. People do take it much more seriously, but there's always much more work to be done. And I think, you know, we hope that with this change in government, that they will see tackling bullying as a real priority for our children and young people.
Talking about the new government, obviously I've spoken to a few people in the newly elected government who I'll be speaking to as well, because obviously I want to see what they're doing. What I'd like to say is that people out there, children out there who are suffering from bullying, it goes back to what we started off the interview with. They mustn't suffer in silence. If you suffer in silence, then we cannot help you. With the Anti-Bullying Alliance, can there be, if there's any organisations out there or any schools that have got a certain problem where the bullying is, can they contact yourselves and any organisations like Scouts or schools or anything? Can they contact yourself for any help or assistance?
Well, there are lots of children's organisations that do give different types of support around bullying. So if you're a child, we'd really recommend that you contact Childline, you know, to have some of that immediate opportunity to talk through what's going on. There are also support organisations for parents, and schools can talk to the Anti-Bullying Alliance if there's a problem they're finding difficult to resolve, or we would encourage them to go to their local authority as well, because actually bullying is by law a child protection matter, and children's services legally should take it seriously.
Okay, so by law, it's a part of the law now. So when me and my brother were growing up in the 70s, there was no such importance around it. I mean, we remember teachers actually getting in their cars and driving off while we're getting beat up. So I'm so glad that we're living in a time now where we have an organisation like yourself. Have you got any future plans for Anti-Bullying Alliance? Any future projects that are coming your way?
Well, each year we have Anti-Bullying Week, so it's November 16th to 20th November, and this year the theme is Make a Noise About Bullying.
Okay,
and it's about really supporting all children and young people to speak out about bullying, whether it's happening to them or to someone else. But we also want to use the week to really upskill teachers to respond appropriately if someone tells them that they're being bullied. So not to say, oh, you just need to man up, you know, if you didn't do this, you wouldn't get bullied, but to say, no, okay, I'm going to listen to this and I'm going to help you change the situation and make things better.
Oh, wow. Wow, excellent. Excellent, because me and my brother, the main problem we had was not only did we suffer the bullying at school, our windows were smashed by hooligans, etc. We thought to ourselves, well, it's not worth telling mum and dad because they've got enough to deal with. I mean, my dad is a respected Sikh, and in the 70s when he went out with his turban, he was constantly abused, and we thought, well, we're not going to tell our parents what's going on because we've got enough to deal with. But that just made matters worse. It made matters worse for us, and if you are suffering out there, the best thing to do is to contact the help organisations Lauren has spoken about, and help is available. Don't think you're on your own and don't suffer. Even if you've been bullied, you tell a friend. Would you advise someone to speak to a friend if they're shy to speak to their parents or teachers or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even they can speak to your friends?
Definitely, because it's about not feeling like you're alone. Because what bullying does is it makes you turn in on yourself and think, oh, it must be something about me. If only I was different, or if I did this, people would like me and I wouldn't be bullied. But that's not true. It's not your fault. It's nothing to do with you. It's all about the person that's doing it to you and nothing about you. And so it's really about just, you know, upping your confidence, doing things that make you feel good about yourself.
Excellent, excellent, Lauren. Thank you very much. If we're talking about the victim here, then let's talk about the bully, okay? The bully out there, what would you say to a bully if you knew someone who was going around picking on the short, slim, whatever colour of skin? What would advice that you'd give that person you knew they were a bully, Lauren?
I think really importantly, what we know from research is that bullying is often a group behaviour.
Ah,
so
okay.
while we often think about there being a bully and a victim, there's nearly always a wider peer group involved. So with a typical bullying situation, you might have the main sort of bully, perpetrator. They usually have a sidekick that's kind of backing up what they're doing, and then you have everybody else who's standing around. Some people might be laughing, some people might be like, oh, I'm not actually that comfortable with that. Some people might be walking away. So what we really say, what's most important is about changing that group dynamic. And so it's working with that young person that's bullying the other person, say, do you know what effect that you're having on them? Do you know how that's making them feel? But working with the wider peer group to say, is this really how you want to live your lives? Like, do you know, how is this affecting all of you? And how could you actually live happier, better, more fulfilled lives by treating each other with respect and tolerance?
You just said there, when someone looks at bullying in school, behind the corridors or behind the doors, and they think, well, this ain't really right, it shouldn't be happening. What should that person do?
Again, speak out about what's going on. So if you're one of those people on the outside, what we tend to call the bystander,
okay,
and you're
right.
seeing it and you don't actually like it, you don't feel comfortable about it, talk to your other friends and say, well, what do you think about that? You know, what can we do about it? What can we do about it as a school or as a community? How can we stand up for the other person? And it might be you don't want to just go in and you know, say, oh, I don't like this, you know, you might not feel comfortable. What you could do is that you could...
Not the reaction could be
exactly.
from
It's unpredictable,
before you know it,
yeah, but you could stand alongside the person that's being bullied. Just stand alongside them. Just say, come on, let's go over here, and just walk away with them, take them away from the situation. Something as simple as that can really change that dynamic.
Good. So for you guys out there, you know bullying's happening, and you know someone's bullying someone in your school, you can make a difference. Is that right, Lauren?
Absolutely.
You can make a difference by speaking to someone. You don't have to get involved, you don't have to become the target, and don't feel the peer pressure of going along with it because it's okay. No, it's not okay. It can destroy a person's morality, confidence. And after all, does that person really deserve to be bullied? Do they really deserve to be bullied out there, Lauren?
Absolutely.
Everyone has the right to be happy. Everyone has a right to go to school, as I said at the start of the show, to work experiences, to get lovely experiences. So when you grow up, you become a great adult. With myself, obviously, my faith in my religion helped me and my brother get through. Also, obviously, having a childhood that I had was going to have its consequences with me, which it did. But luckily enough for me, I managed to walk on the road of self-help, learn more techniques of how to be a better person. But it was a mountain climb, Lauren. It wasn't easy, because the childhood we came through, we thought, wait a minute, we don't deserve to be happy. We don't. So the reason I'm saying this, Lauren, is because it can have a drastic effect if people do not stop bullying in school or do not do nothing. It can have a drastic effect on adult life. Would you agree, Lauren?
Absolutely. Some research has just come out in this last week that's been published in The Lancet that shows that children who are bullied have more long-term mental health issues than children that have been abused, which is just staggering, really. And it was a really strong piece of research from Duke University and Warwick University. So we know that bullying has devastating effects on people's mental health long-term.
Excellent, excellent. So you've heard it here. If you know someone who's been bullied, you don't want them to walk down the road that Lauren has just said. You want them to have a great life. So speak to your parents, speak to your friends, speak to any organisation you can, but don't tolerate it. And for you guys out there being bullied, you've got the strong arm of the Anti-Bullying Alliance here to help you. When children suffer the bullying, and in some parents, like you said before, say to them, it's okay, or some teachers say, it's okay, you'll be okay. What's your advice to them? Is it going to be okay? Is it a passing phase? I don't think it is. I think something needs to be done. What would you recommend? Rather than ignoring it, what's the actions that the parents or guardians should take?
I think it's really important that parents and carers realise that it does have a really serious kind of short-term and long-term effect on children, you know, right on into adulthood, which is very, very well researched. You know, I think as a parent, you just want the best for your child, and you want to hope that by saying, oh, it's just something you're going to go through, you're going to come out the other side, it'll be okay, and then it will just all go away. But very often it doesn't. Bullying's repetitive in its nature, tends to happen again, so it really needs to get stopped at its source. And as a parent, I talk about, you know, you need to be a lion for your children. You know, don't give up until that situation's resolved and your child is feeling safe and feeling happy, which is their right.
Excellent. So complacency for parents and guardians. Don't get complacent.
No.
Don't think it's going to be a passing phase. Sit with them, talk to them, find out, do a bit of fact finding, speak to the teachers. Any schools, you can walk into the head teachers and sit down, have a chat. So, Lauren, please, could you put, say your website again, please, for the cameras?
Yeah, it's www.anti-bullyingalliance.org.uk, or follow us at ABA online.
Okay, so if out there, as I said before, you guys watching out there, this is a great organisation to help. We need support from any organisation, any scout groups, any school groups out there. You can contact you and do some special events or workshops. What I spoke about earlier, Lauren, about workshops in school, I don't think there's enough. I mean, like I said, I didn't get to see a poster of anti-bullying, and if I would have seen one poster, that would have been a flicker of light for me that there is hope out there. Could there be more workshops that could be done at school? I know you're saying you've got the Anti-Bullying Week coming up soon. Could there be more that could be done?
Oh, absolutely. There's always, you must never get complacent, like we said, and Anti-Bullying Week is just a way of sort of shining a light on bullying, but it's really about encouraging schools to work on these issues the whole year round. You know, this is something that we can't give up on, we have to keep working at, because where there are children, where there are humans, there's going to be bullying behaviour, and so we can't get complacent, we've got to keep doing something about it. So the good thing about being an alliance is that we've got lots of members that are doing workshops and different things to tackle bullying all across the country. So again, visit our website and you can find out some of the work that they're doing.
Excellent. So schools out there, organisations, if you want to do a special event at your school, contact the Anti-Bullying Alliance. They'll be more than happy to help you to raise the awareness of anti-bullying, because we need to eliminate this from our schools. We need to make a school a comfortable place where children go to learn, have fun, and obviously come home with smiles. Me and my brother never came home with a smile. Me and my brother never went to school with a smile. We didn't have the excuses. We ran out of excuses and we just had to go. And we got bullied every single day. I don't want no one to go through that. And obviously parents and guardians, I'm sure you don't want to go through that. So sensible fact-finding questions with kids when they see them doing stuff or feeling a little bit sad or talking or just hiding themselves away in their room. Maybe they should ask the kids some questions.
Yeah, that's it. It's about just really keeping an eye on what's going on for your child, what their behaviour's like, and just creating opportunities to chat, whether that's going out for a walk. And sometimes it might be easier, rather than asking them directly if something's happening to them, to use an example from a film, from a soap, you know, a story in the news. Say, oh, you know, what do you think about that? You know, sometimes it's that kind of indirect approach can really help with children.
So for me, there's three groups. There's the victim, there's the bully, and there's what you call the bystander. All three of you are playing a part in this, all three of you. And in order to eliminate all three, the bully, the person getting bullied has to go forward and say something, and a bystander. Sometimes, when I used to be bullied in school, or not, like you said before, you'd see there's one person there bullying you and the rest were just cheering them on and going along. And sometimes I just look in some of their eyes and you could tell that that person looking at me is saying, well, I don't really like what's happening to you. I don't really like it. But they still, the worst part that got me was that they still stood there and tolerated it. That person could have changed everything for us. But then again, also it was a different time, a different place, and now that's why I brought you on the show, because I'm so proud, and I'm sure I speak for the nation when I say this. We're so proud that you and your team are doing this great work out there. What I'd like to do is, going forward, I'd like you to come back with more projects and more organised, so we can get out there and get the message out there to everyone that don't tolerate it. Do you know of any issues or any victims that have come to you that have been helped, or any groups or schools that come to you and ask you for help and that you've helped or changed it around for them? Go on.
Yeah, there's been lots of different ways where we've been able to kind of see change. Most recently, we've been working on a long-term programme around disability bullying, and we know that disabled children are massively more likely to be bullied and intimidated in our schools, including, you know, some real physical bullying. And we've done a lot of work around changing the way that teachers understand disabled children and their needs, and breaking down some of those barriers and making school a good place for them to be. And that's been really, really positive work.
Lauren, thank you very much for coming down today.
Thank you.
So you guys out there, we're about to go now, every child out there, you are special, and don't let anyone else tell you anything different. And God bless you, and all the best out there. I'll see you in the next show. Lauren, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Wajia Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.